I decided to use this editing style again, cause why not? Hey guys, welcome to TWOW Precision Payoff episode 1G, and I would have made a bee joke, but I decided not to because it would be a bit boring. Get it? Okay, whatever. If you're confused, then you can watch TWOW Precision Payoff 08, or watch TWOW 08, the origin of this me TWOW and every other one, or even UWOW 08, TWOW's successor. As a reminder, the prompt was, how do you explain gravity to cat? And you were tasked to get 64.58%. So, you wanna know how you did? Well, okay, we will do this in alphabetical order. So up first is AAA9676, who responded with dropping them 100 feet, since they'll totally land on their feet. So what did the voters think? Well, they didn't. Out of the 10 responses, this one didn't get a single vote. Not one. Which is never a great result. Especially when you know you put the effort in and the entry was just as valid as any other. But, as it turns out, nobody even landed on that voting screen. It wasn't ignored, it just didn't show up for anyone. That sort of thing can happen sometimes with how the responses get distributed. It's not ideal, and I totally get how frustrating it can be. You submit something, it ends up in the void, and you're left staring at 0 votes without any real feedback to go on. To handle that kind of situation, I put a system in place so that responses with no votes aren't just left with a flat 0. Here's how it works. If your response gets 0 votes, I'll adjust your final score based on the original target percentage. If that target was over 50%, I subtract 25% of it to calculate your result. If it was under 50%, I add 25% instead. It's meant to be a fair compromise, penalizing slightly for missing the target, but not completely tanking your chances when the response never got a fair shot. So for this round, AAA9676 ends up with a score of 39.58%. Not where you'd want to land, but not a disaster either. Depending on how everyone else did, you might lose a life here, but that still leaves you with 2 more. And the way things are set up, you're only eliminated if you lose all 3. So even if this round dings you, there's still some buffer left to steady the ship. 2 full rounds to course correct, rethink your approach if needed, and get back in the game. It's not a great result, sure, but it's also not the kind that defines your whole run. Plenty of space left to turn things around. Now we move on to Chongki, who went with gravity is a dangerous thing, but don't worry, you have 9 lives. So how did that land with the voters? Let's have a look. 25%. Yeah, not the strongest showing. Not terrible either, but definitely on the lower side of the spectrum. Depending on how everyone else stacks up, there's still a chance you squeak by this round, but it's definitely not a comfortable position. You're sort of hanging near the edge here. Next up is KTG_official, who submitted lolcat. So, this object will be accelerating at 9.81 meters a second squared. Let's check what the voters thought about that one. 22.22%. Oof, that one stings a bit. You know how a P stings. Seems like the vibe didn't quite hit with this crowd, or maybe they just weren't in a physics mood. In any case, it's a pretty low score, and chances are you won't be safe this round. That said, it's definitely not the end of the line. Even if you do lose a life here, this very nice and wholesome game gives you 3 total, so at the very least, you've still got 2 rounds to regroup, test a new approach, and push your way back into safer territory. Everyone has a rough round at some point. What matters is how you bounce back from it. Now we turn to Lime Plus, who said, cat language. Meow, purr. Translation. So, this guy named Isaac. So what did the voters think was a good place to place the placer at? 50.00%. Right on the money. Exactly halfway. That's honestly kind of satisfying to look at. There's something clean about landing right on the dot like that. Not too high, not too low, just solidly in the middle of the pack. That score could go either way depending on the rest of the field, but as far as raw numbers go, that's pretty respectable. Okay, and next up is, well, me. I wrote, Earth's invisible paw tugs you down, forgive gravity's clingy nature. So, how'd that go? How did the voters feel about that one? Let's check the numbers. 100%, like 100%. The two people that sided for me thought this one is the best. Wow. Remember, your goal is to get to 64.58%, not 100%. This is 35.42% away from the goal. That's far away. It may even mean I lose a life. Oh well. Alright, Math Guy 37, your turn in the spotlight. You wrote, gravity would affect you if you didn't land all four. Let's see how it did with the voters. 38.89%. That one's a little on the lower side, not the lowest, but just a step below the score from the response that actually got no votes at all and had to be adjusted. So yeah, not ideal. But and this is important, it still doesn't guarantee a lost life. It just puts you in that fuzzy gray area where anything could happen depending on how the overall leaderboard shakes out. You're not in free fall, but you're definitely not cruising at altitude either. You may lose a life here or you might scrape by. Now, to wrap up the human submissions, we come to our final entry from Simbaldmer, who went with magical claws below grasp everyone down until their age passes. It's quirky, dramatic, and kind of poetic in a weirdly feline way. Let's check how the voters responded to this one. 55.56%. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. That's the best humans for this round, and a pretty solid showing overall. But let's not get too comfortable. Remember, the target percentage is 64.58%, and this is still just under 9 points shy of that. So well, it's the closest we've seen from the human side. It's not exactly within striking distance of the goal. Still, that score gives Team Human a clear bar to set. Now the pressure flips because it's up to the eyes if even one of them manages to beat that 55.56% mark, especially if they get closer to that 64.58% target, then humans might lose this round. But if none of them get there, well, it could mean an unexpected win for the humans after all. It's all on the edge now. Let's see who closes it out. Alright, now it's time to see how the eyes did, and I mean, we were hoping they'd fumble it, right? Just a little. So, the eye scores were kind of all over the place. From worst to best, here's how it went down. First up, one of the eyes pulled in a measly 33.33%. That's 31.25 percentage points below the target score of 64.58%. Which honestly, that's a proper miss. No sugarcoating it. Like showing up to an archery contest and firing your arrow into the parking lot. So, that's a nice start for us. Then, swinging wildly in the other direction, another eye overcorrected hard and landed at 83.33%. So that one overshot the goal by 18.75 percentage points. Which, again, not helping their case. That's the risk with the eyes. They either try to be too clever and face plant, or they go full precision robot and blow right past the target without stopping to ask, wait, is this too good? And hey, by the rules, going too far in either direction means they are just as off as being way below. But then there was one final eye, the last shot. This one scored, drumroll, 50.00%. 50. Flat. That's it. Which means Simbaldmer is the winner of round 1 of TWOW Precision Payoff. That's right, Team Human takes the crown. Closest to the target, cleanest execution. No machine outplayed them. Not this time. Now, sure, you could say this is a moment for the history books, a defining victory in the annals of TWOW lore. But let's be real for a second. This is Precision Payoff. It's not exactly sweeping the internet. 7 people joined. Total. Anyways, the second prompt. The prompt for round 2 is: you receive an email from the year 3027. What does it say? Your target percentage is 48.00%. That's your goal. Get as close as you can. Not too high, not too low. You're aiming for that precise mid-range sweet spot. Submissions end on Friday, August 1st, 2025, but that may have to be extended or shrunk, who knows. Take your time, but not too much. That's all for now. Good luck, and may your email from the future not include the phrase, "We regret to inform you." See you in episode 2A, to release on August 12th, 2026. I mean, sometime early August 2025.